right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV, and across the computer is my new buddy. Are we friends yet, Daniela? Or we're still acquaintances? Where are we on this relationship?
We're getting there.
That's you're not even answering. So we're still in acquaintance land. I'm still in acquaintance land with you. It's okay. It's all right.
You're warming up. I'm warming up to you.
You're warming up.
I'm getting there.
Can I call you? So everybody out there, Danielle's a little bit under the weather, but she's a trooper. She's hanging in there, and she wants to.
Not gonna stop me from drinking though.
She wants to meet the guests tonight. But you said you're an acquired taste. I like that.
I am. Not everyone likes me. But when you do, you do. You know.
So, when you're dating a guy, is it a lot of work to entertain you? Is that what it is?
I get bored very easily. That's one thing. I can be very bratty. That's for sure. I think as grown of a woman as I am probably like a 9-year-old child sometimes.
You're a bit spoiled.
Don't disturb me early in the morning. I need my naps.
Do you know that's one of my favorite things, to like wake people up in the morning, because I'm up early at work all the time and I want people to suffer like me.
I feel like when you text me good morning, all I hear is good morning, good morning. I just want to be like, shut up!
You know, you're right.
It's too damn early. And you're like, well, you're up. And I'm like, I know, I don't want to be up right now.
Listen. Just we're two different people living in the same space.
I'll get there.
You're getting there.
I'll get there.
All right, I want to get to our guest because I'm excited. He's kind enough to come on the show, but got a few things for you, my friend. Jennifer Aniston, Lisa Kudrow, and Courtney Cox are destroyed over Matthew Perry. We are all so utterly devastated by the loss of Matthew. We were more than just classmates or castmates. We are a family. We're going to take a moment to grieve and process this loss. What'd you think of Matthew Perry? Were you a Friends person growing up?
Oh, hell yeah. One stinky cat, smelly cat was like my Phoebe thing. I feel like I'm a Phoebe. Like, she's a required taste.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a Phoebe. But did they ever, what did he pass away from? Is it out yet? Or no?
No, they were doing the autopsy. There's a whole bunch of different things that people are claiming could have happened. I mean, I know
he suffered. He suffered a lot of like depression. I think he actually had an eating disorder. He was fluctuating up and down with the show. I remember reading stuff like that back in the day. Like, that's what I'm curious about is like, was it, I mean, he wasn't old at all, but like, was it a natural cause? Was it self-inflicted? What happened?
I think sometimes if you go through so much drug abuse or alcohol abuse, you know, you wear on the body, and then it does become a natural cause, I guess. It's sad, regardless.
I don't think he had a problem, though. I never heard anything about that. I know he had, like, an eating disorder.
No, he had a major drug addiction, major alcoholism.
Damn.
Yeah. He recovered. He was fighting, he's fighting back. He wrote a book, but unfortunately, I don't know.
I loved him. He was like the epitome of like my sarcasm humor. Like, you were like, oh, I get that. Like, yeah. He always had like those good one-liners that only like I felt a certain amount of people could be like, fuck yeah, that was funny. Like,
did you feel jealous, like you wanted to be with people like Friends? Like you wanted Friends to be your friends?
Did I want Friends to be my friends?
Yeah, like when you watch, I wish I had friends like that.
I just said every time you text me in the morning, I hear this song. I don't think I could have been a friend.
Yeah, I
don't think I could have been a friend.
You'd be the bitchy friend.
I would be the bitchy friend. I feel like I'd be like that, like uptight Monica type, like yeah. Just like.
They'd be like, oh, there's Daniela ruining the party again.
Here she goes with her bitching.
Let's leave the coffee house and go party, everyone. Oh, she wants to go party again. Little wrestling things before we get to our guest. Documentary came out on Peacock about a super fan named Vladimir. And growing up,
that's
when
an awesome fucking name.
it is a pretty awesome name, isn't it?
I love that name.
I used to go to the Garden all the time, and when I was younger, and I used to see him there, and I always wondered, like, how he got these seats all the time. It was crazy.
You know somebody.
Well, the point, I know you didn't see the documentary, but when I watched it, it's like his life was revolved around wrestling, not women. Like, he worked to buy wrestling, and his mother too. He really loved his mother a lot. I guess my question to you, besides obviously your children, right? Have you ever loved something so much, like a passion, like music, or I don't know.
I definitely have always been a concert goer. My children's father, we used to actually travel to go see Dave Matthews.
Oh, nice.
We go to Seattle, we go to Washington. Like, I'm definitely like a concert person. Kings of Leon, I've traveled to see them. Like, when you go, not where it's like just out of convenience, you have a passion for it. And there are like dedicated people like that. I met a couple of super fans that they're like, oh, I'm from the UK. I go to and like wrestlers were introducing it. Yeah, they're at all our shows. And I'm like, yo, like, that's a lot of money just to go to like SummerSlam and like, all these things. Like, what do you do for a living? Like, what is your secret?
Well, that was my question all the time, was like, how does this guy afford this? But I guess if you just save your money and that's all you do, it's affordable, I guess.
I wonder if any wrestlers, like, because they saw his dedication and his passion, his love, like, I wonder if like some of them like, hey, I got tickets for you. Get your airfare. These seats are waiting for you. Because I know they can put seats in people's names.
Well, I'm interested to ask Aron that, right? Because I'm sure Aron wrestled at the Garden numerous times. I wonder if he knew Vladimir or if he saw Vladimir. I know a lot of the wrestlers, they knew him after a while. He was always in that same seat all the time. So, and I think they recognized.
And this is on Peacock?
On Peacock, yeah. You got Peacock, don't you?
I watched that wrestling Netflix one, so I'll definitely watch this one. I do. Right. I like learning about this stuff.
Report back.
I will. I don't know how you wear sunglasses doing this shit. I feel crazy. I feel like Corey Hart, sunglasses at night.
Listen, well, we won't even get into that. That was another show you used to call us that we're feuding with. Next Saturday, you're here in New York. Monty meets Petro live in studio. Abe gets to meet you in person. The owner of the station gets to meet you in person. We're at the big event.
Run for the hills, guys. Just run.
Well, I got to wake you up at, pick you up at 8:00 in the morning for the big event. But we're promoting Monte the Pharaoh. We've got
Tony. You're going to be picking me up for the event. That's going to be horrible.
I know. I'm not even going to talk to you. I promise I won't even talk to you. I don't want to be in a bad mood.
I'm just going to be like the Devil Wears Prada, just no speaking. Not yet. It's not 11 yet.
But we've got Sunny Beach at the table with us. Tony Atlas will be at our table. They're asking all the fans come up, say hello. Phil DeCesare says he's going to drop by. So that'd be fun. You get to meet Phil. Yeah.
Finally.
Finally.
Is he going to sit on his lap?
Upcoming show.
He wore sunglasses tonight, too.
He did. Upcoming shows on November 11th when we're done with the big event. We've got Magnum TA in studio. You and I will be interviewing. The Nasty Boys and the Orient Express. And that Sunday you fly out, but I'll be interviewing Paul London and cheerleader Melissa after I drop you off at the airport. Don't worry. I got you covered.
You'll be giving me that boot out the car real fast.
Oh, you'll be calling me like, who are you?
No, then you'll be like, it's too early.
I'd like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monte the Pharaoh, own Jimmy Farrell, along with his partner Bark Riggs, make up the band Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, and Here Comes the Rain. You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page, Spotify, Apple Music, and Reverb Nation. If you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte the Pharaoh. Catch us on the Monte the Pharaoh YouTube page, the Monte the Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV. And if you're lucky enough to live in New York, where over 150,000 people watch us weekly, channel 115 every Tuesday at 9:30 and Saturday at 11:30 a.m. and channel 20 at Tuesdays at 7 p.m., where you'll see the reduced version of our guest tonight. We're also part of something called the Intuitive Network. That's IN2ITIVE Network. It's a free app. Have you checked that app out, Daniela?
I have, because you know why? If it's free, it's for me.
That's it. That is all. And we are the Anchor Show. Are you getting used to watching yourself every week? Do you critique yourself at this point?
Actually, I watch myself with one of my besties, and then I let her critique, and then I'm just like, oh, God. And then I'm like, maybe I need to slow down when I drink on the show.
Jeez. She's rough.
She
roughed you.
Make no sense.
Did she rough you up a bit or what?
She always does. She's like, "Why do you know what you're talking about?" I'm like, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
We'll be right back. I'm really honored this gentleman is going to come onto the show, Aron Stevens. I'm just really excited.
He's lucky I'm under the weather. I'm behaving tonight.
Yeah. I think that might be a good idea. We'll find out. Maybe he doesn't want you to behave. Who knows? But we'll be right
back. I'll
back.
let him initiate.
All right. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Sir? Manscaped? You know, have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped, what are you thinking about
Love
Manscaped,
it.
dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
Manscaped is a must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to go do the deed on a woman, would you rather have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
racing stripe,
full retro bush?
Racing stripe.
Retro bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well-manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to wander into that.
That's very interesting.
Like that.
I never thought about that. You're a smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured, you can see both sides. It's not
like blinking lights on both sides of that.
I don't want, I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that as well.
Gotcha. Oh, look what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
I found it.
Have you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
what is it?
Retro.
Absolutely.
You're like, whoa.
Wow,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
like
46,
it
of
pops
course.
out?
Do you like walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's a
through.
trooper.
Yeah.
He's a trooper. Got to give him an A.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hear you.
There you
Listen,
go.
I couldn't
Super
say,
Bush.
I couldn't say it. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven does, Manscaped could help you.
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Yeah, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but
only
with that,
Ron
we're going to take a
Jeremy,
quick
Batman.
commercial break, and we'll be
Anyway.
back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop. All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. We're welcoming our special guest, Mr. Aron Stevens. How are you, sir?
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, you have
thanks
a
for
nice
being on.
background. I need to do something like that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of a minimalist, so when it comes to my background, that is. So yeah, I just why not keep it
So
simple,
modest
right?
of you.
Thank you.
I want to congratulate you, sir, on your NWA making that television deal. Congratulations. It seems like you
Oh,
may
thank you.
be a good luck charm in pro wrestling.
You know what? I would hardly call myself that, but thank you. Especially if you look at my career. But I've been with the NWA since the beginning of they call it the Lightning One era or the Billy Corgan era, what have you. And it's just really cool because we've had ups. When we were on the scene, it was 2019, pre-COVID, of course, but we had such a strong show. And like anything, COVID derailing things and what have you, right? Like we had to start over. And sticking with the NWA and being part of that process from like what we were to the rebuilding process to what we are now, it's been extremely rewarding. And we just had, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, the best pay-per-view we have ever done as a company. And it was, of course, Samhain from Cleveland. And, man, people are still talking about it, and the numbers are showing that it is the best pay-per-view. And I think now, like with ticket sales up, we have our TV taping in Nashville on Saturday. Excuse me.
I
And then
love
we
it.
also have – it's a great town, isn't it?
It is amazing. Such good vibes. That's
Yeah,
a
and
perfect
then where are you
spot
at?
for like that.
Where are you at right now?
Oh, I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Tampa.
We're like,
Oh, yeah.
we're getting a little hood around here. So
No.
a little bit.
Oh, no. Tampa was – I lived in Tampa for 7 years. You do not have to tell me anything. I am all about Tampa.
So you know.
Ybor City, Castle was my hangout. Still is. I was actually there.
Did you just say the castle?
Oh, yeah.
You are naughty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I gotta tell you about that, Mike. I gotta inform you about the castle.
Well, now that you guys are
It's
talking
not for
about
everybody.
Tampa, Aaron,
It's not for
Daniela
everybody.
was telling me that if you're a man in Tampa, you don't date anybody over 30, right? 30 is considered like a old Chevrolet,
I'm a classic car.
a classic car. Is that true?
Here's the thing. Again, as my in-ring career would be an example of, like, I have always marched to the tune of my own drummer. And I do not date. If a woman is, like, more than 2 years younger than me, I just don't have it. Not that I have, like, a MILF thing, but, I like to date either around my age group. I mean, no more than, like, 5 years older and no more than 2 years younger.
Well, I got to agree with you,
It's just
right?
me.
Like the younger girl could be really hot, but what are you talking to them about, right? They're talking about Barbie dolls, and you want to talk politics, right?
Well, no, because you know what? I have this Catholic guilt thing, which is, I'm not going to get into it here, but I just, like, to me, I to say, hey, like, let's go hang out, let's do whatever. If you are so much younger than me, I just feel like I'm robbing the cradle. And that's just, again, I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, anything. It's just something that I personally like. I'm not into. I'm actually pretty picky. I've only had, if I'm like, 2 serious girlfriends in my whole life, and I've never had a relationship last longer than like 2 years, maybe. But and that's only because of my nomadic lifestyle. And you know, I'm sure that there could be a whole show dedication. Oh, thank you.
What?
Yeah, or,
he said he's speaking my love language. I date a woman that is my age. Like,
no, because it's just like the
that
Catholic
is
guilt. Like, oh, I don't wanna, and then, you know.
here.
No, I mean, I've hung out with, let's say, like, for a brief time, ladies that were older than me, and that's fine. But like, I've never hung out with anyone 2 years or younger.
I like.
So look, you just got more info on me in about like 5 minutes. So whatever y'all are doing, you're this has been the most revealing interview.
But you know what? You know what? You have taught me something. So Daniela, I don't think I could bring you up to New York. I can't hang out with you. You're too young for me.
No. Hey, man, do you? Like, I'm just, hey, you got to get in where you fit in, man. I'm not trying to, you know, I ain't trying to, like, sling shade or nothing like that.
I can't get them young. I can't get them old. I'm okay. I'm done. It's time out. Damn it out.
I'm only kidding. So, wow. So we met each other through the world famous psychic Gary, who was on the show, I don't know, a couple of months ago. I wanted to tell you this story. Gary gave me the New York Pick 4 numbers on the show. I played them. They came out boxed, but I still won $3,000. What do you think of that?
I'm not surprised. No, I'm not surprised. Gary, him and Virginia, they are dear, dear friends of mine and have been dear friends of mine for a very long time. And it's just, like, I have a very strange life. Like, I just like the eclectic group of friends that I've amassed over the years. Like, and, you know, Gary is just like, we had breakfast last week. I was in Massachusetts for my cousin's wedding, and like him and Virginia, his wife, we went, had breakfast. I was going to go to the show, but I couldn't. I had a family commitment. And, but yeah, he's just wonderful. And like, it's interesting because to me, like, people, and I get it. I completely understand. Yes. Like, oh my God, this guy just gave me the winning numbers. That like, it's incredible. It's amazing. But like, when you've seen it enough times, like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, it's Gary. Like, what's he going to do? Like,
right.
Pick random numbers? No, he's, you know, he's a very, very, talented, psychic, medium. But more than that, he is just a wonderful human being, as is his family.
Well, obviously you know him better than I.
I need to meet Gary. I need to meet him. I need him to tell me about what's going on in my life.
and
he will.
Aaron, if you didn't know it, that is my co-host, Miss Daniela Petro. I want to introduce you.
Nice to meet you, Daniela. How are you?
I was gonna say, in a short time, I spoke to Gary and his wife. You could just tell what good people they were. Had a long conversation. Oh, yeah. Really just wonderful people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, yeah, that was right. Right. Or that was like the day that Wyndham passed, right? Or, excuse me, Bray.
Yes. It was.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was, yeah. But that was, oh man, what a tragedy that was. I don't want to, take care of the room, but it's just, you know, one of those things that, and you know, being in the wrestling business really since I was 16, you become all too familiar with people close to you and a lot of your friends passing. And to be very frank, you develop a numbness, and I'm not the only one, believe me. Like there's a certain kind of defense mechanism when it happens so much, but every now and then, you know, when somebody untimely passes away, it becomes just like, you know, like all that goes away. Because with Wyndham, you know, I was at barbecues at his houses. We went like to kids' birthday parties. We went to concerts together. Like me and my girlfriend, him and his wife. Like I knew the kids. I knew it was just it was a horrible passing, and for for his family, for Mike and Stephanie, his parents, Jojo, his wife, and just his kids, and Bo, his brother. I just my heart is still broken over it.
Being a devout Christian like you are, does it make it a little easier when you lose someone like that, or?
Again, yes, in the sense of if we're here, and I'm very spiritual, like a lot of people. Like I obviously I do a lot of stuff like with some Catholic networks and everything like that, but I'm also a very real person. I'm very much a human being. Again, as a Catholic, I take advantage of the sacrament of confession a lot, let's say. And I do try to do better.
You probably confessed a lot when you lived in Tampa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have a few more rosaries to say before my penance is up on the but having, like I said, that core spiritual belief, right? Because I don't want to get too deep, but I truly believe as humans, spirituality, it is God's language to us, or even like religion, right? Where we can say hello, or hola, or buenos dias, or konnichiwa, right? They all mean the same thing, but they have different languages. So with different people, you have Christianity and all the denominations of Christianity. There's Buddhism, there's Hinduism, and I think like the beauty and the truth in all of it, will kind of show itself, and then that to me. So like I'm not one of these people that is like, oh, you don't believe like I believe. I'm like, no, like one of my favorite verses in the Bible, and I'm paraphrasing, which kind of shows you, but like you don't look at the splinter in your neighbor's eye when you can't see the beam in your own. Well, yeah, I have like about a forest in my eye, and not just because I have eyes the size of grapefruits, but because like, look, I got my own shit, and I apologize for swearing, but
That's fine.
truly, like, who am I to judge anybody? So like that's what I try to live by, and it's not always easy, right? Like we as humans, we tend to have a propensity to do it. So again, just trying to like not judge anyone, do the best you can. And again, I'm sorry to get off on this tangent, but like to answer your original question, it does make it easier when someone that you know and love passes, because you really think like, hey, like life goes on, not in the sense that we know, but it's not like they're gone, and to me, I've always found solace in that.
Well,
I like that. That was well put.
absolutely.
Oh, thank you. I spent all day rehearsing that. I'm kidding.
Well, got a little more for you, though. Not to get too heavy, but I really would like you to weigh on this. What are your feelings about what's happening right now in the Gaza Strip and the issues that are happening? What are your feelings?
Well, I think what's going on right now. We're seeing a situation arise again, and when we talk about the fighting and we talk about the killing, I mean, literally, it's been going on for thousands of years. And for what point and purpose? I mean, what amount of land can justify a child without parents, or a child that is, crippled or hurt, or a child that has their life taken? What amount of fighting or what cause is worth like anyone dying for? I mean, unless someone is trying to actively hurt or come after you or your family,
or protect, and
yeah, I mean, and I think what this will take is both sides just saying, hey, you know what, enough. Why they can't live in peace, I have no idea. But then again, the same can be said for domestically. Like, why can we not just agree that like other people have different opinions and say, hey, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to burn you in effigy because like you think that global warming is what it is, right? Like, no, like we have to find the middle ground because that's what compromise is, right? And in order for anyone as like a society, compromise is really kind of the mortar that holds the building together, if that makes sense.
It does.
I think it's hard for people nowadays to even just have. When I remember our one guest, a lot of his stuff that he was talking about, I did not agree with. But what I had respect for was his opinion. We may not agree, but I respect your way of thinking. May not be my way of thinking, but we are able to discuss it in a mature manner without one of us wanting to kill each other or throw it down your throat or implement it as like, you're wrong, I'm right, because I think this way and you think that way. And it's just sad. It really is sad. A lot of my family's Muslim, so a lot of Palestinians are Muslim. So it's like, just, it doesn't matter whether you're Jewish or Palestinian, in my opinion. There are so many innocent lives as casualties. And it's like, the fighting this, why so much hate? Do you know what you're fighting for anymore? Like, what is your reason for pulling that trigger or dropping that bomb? Like, just because you're told to? Like, it's one of these things where it's just like everyone's suffering in the end. And it's so tragic. No side is better than the other. They're both honestly completely wrong because there's too many lives that have been lost in all of this.
Very well said. Very well said.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I can be mature sometimes.
Sometimes.
Oh, thank you.
Sometimes.
Well, no, hey, I'm still trying to be mature. I'm still trying to find. I'm trying to grow up. Believe it or not.
Well, I'm under the weather today, and I was told I gotta be on my best behavior.
Oh no lie. But no,
but honestly,
to tie that in, like
Mike, he said he used to go to the castle, so I don't know. I think it's.
Oh, I was there in February. Trust me. If I'm in Tampa, like, and by the way, we're going to be in Sarasota, so that's not too far from you on the 18th of November, where NWA the return to Roberts. It's been years since we've been at Roberts Hall. We're going to be there. Austin Idol, I guess.
Are you inviting me to see you?
Oh, if you want to go, please. And hey, if you'd like to go too, you're up in New York, I know, but no, you guys be more than welcome.
Well, that would be really fun.
Why you got to throw Mike into the mix?
All right, now
I thought you were giving me a personal invite.
Wow.
Oh, I was just trying to be nice. Sorry.
Wow. Wow. I'll just turn off my camera. You guys just have at it and tell me when it's over.
He's being a good, polite Christian boy, and he's just extending the invitation. It's not personal.
Wow. By the way, Danielle, just a heads up, plane flights out of Florida have had tremendous increase in air accidents in the last couple of weeks. Just give you a heads up.
Why the fuck would you say that?
Yeah, oops, hey, I have to fly out of there on the 19th. Hey, it's like I'll be driving back to Kentucky.
He knows I have a fear of flying. Like, I am on some real shit. Why would you tell me that?
You're fine. You're fine.
Wow.
You're fine.
All right, let's get this back on track.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, my anxiety level, I'm taking a Valium when I get on that flight.
Aaron, you see the power of the word? Just got to say things and people just flip out. Yep. It's that easy. That easy.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, firsthand.
It's that damn Final Destination. That's what put the fear of flying into my life. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I actually, you know what? I want to ask you some things. What made you decide to become a pro wrestler? You speak such eloquently. You seem more like you'd be an actor. But what made you get into pro wrestling?
I kind of am. I kind of am. There's a strike going on right now, so thank God for wrestling. That's why I can afford to turn the lights on. I'm kidding. But no, I essentially was 5 years old. I was in a department store. There was an arcade game, and I asked my mother if I could go play it. She said, if you behave yourself, fine. So I did. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just pressing buttons, but it was a wrestling arcade game. I lost. I got pissed off, and I said I was going to be a wrestler, and here we are. And that is the God's honest proof.
I love it.
Wait a minute.
You know, we were talking about
I wish I
this
had some
guy.
cool story with this.
Yeah, but Aaron,
You know, we were talking about this Vladimir guy. Oh, go on, Mike.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
yes, I did meet him. Yeah.
What?
You did meet him? Oh, you
Yeah.
did? What is he like?
Like, so I got to I definitely wrestled in front of him because I remember I think I was with Cody, and we were teaming, and like we're there, and I'm like, oh shit, that's the dude that was at every pay-per-view
Does he spend
forever.
that much?
Yeah.
What's that?
Now I gotta watch this thing, man, because like, damn.
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, growing up, like that's the thing. Growing up, I recognized him, like, oh man. And then we did a show.
Whoa! You've known him in the scene that long in your career?
Oh yeah. Well, when I was a kid and I would watch the pay-per-views, I would see him all the time. And I like we were in the ring somewhere, and I went like, "Hey, dude, that's that guy." And Cody knew his name. Oh yeah, it's Vlad. So that was just I was like, whoa, that was kind of cool. And I had seen him, but like he was always, in his seat, and I was in my underpants fake fighting. And like I got to meet him though at it was in New Jersey last December for Nova or Mike Bucci or Simon Dean's retirement match. He was there, and I got to actually like chat with him and stuff. It was really cool, really really cool.
I don't know
Mike,
if you had the
took
chance.
That question.
I don't know if you had the chance, but if you saw the documentary that the WWE just put out on him.
No, I have not.
It's pretty amazing how one human being could love something like that much.
I feel like you downplayed it though. Like that's really like this guy's been going hard, Mike. Like I thought you were saying like when you're like, oh, has there been something you ever loved? Yeah, I've gone and seen some bands here and there. Like, yo, this man is like on some like real passion shit. Like
25, 30 years.
Easy.
Like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Now
how do you afford that?
I'm 56. I started watching wrestling maybe 15, and I used to go to the Garden every month, and that dude was in the front row every month. And as I creeped down,
you've seen him too, Mike?
Yeah, when I used to go towards the front row, and then I started getting better tickets, I would see him there. And I actually went to speak to him, and I always thought he wrestled for somebody or he worked for somebody because he was always in that same spot. It's just amazing how all these wrestlers knew this guy.
Yeah.
What kind of seats did he have? Now I'm curious.
He was front row, right, Aaron?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Always front row and just having a good old time. And it was, again, really cool to meet him because, like, I felt like I owed him a thank you because, like, had he not loved it as much as he did, right? And he's kind of like, I guess, a representative for all the fans. I mean, if you're going to pick a fan, they did a documentary on him. He'd be the one. So it was just like, hey, dude, like, thank you for your support. Thank you for just showing up, man. Because that's, it's incredible. Like, that kind of commitment. Again, they did a documentary about it, right? Like, how much.
I want to get him as a guest now. I want to pick his brain.
You should.
I literally want to see if we
he
can
knows
get him
more
as
about
a
wrestling
guest.
than me. Yeah.
So, Aaron, let me ask you this
So
then. When the wrestlers call fans marks, like I personally always felt it was almost like an insulting comment, right? Oh, he's a mark.
Translate.
Oh,
What's
she's
mark
a mark.
mean? What's a mark?
Tell her what a mark is, Aaron.
A fan. Now, okay, so if we, the term mark, do you guys know where the term mark comes from?
I do. But you can explain it
Okay,
to
yeah.
Danielle. Yep.
So back in the carnival
Definitely.
days, right? Yeah, that's okay. So back in the carnival days, you'd have the guy step right up, come do this, whatever, right? Like that was to get people to spend their money. And what they would do sometimes, they'd have a little piece of chalk, and as the people were going into the tent or whatever, they just go, oh, come on, and they would mark their back with a little piece of chalk so the other vendors would know, oh, this person's got some money and this and that. So they would kind of cater to them to try to get them to spend their money on their booth. So that's why, the term mark originates from literally the mark on, the back of their coats. And, in wrestling, because wrestling obviously was or professional wrestling as we know it today was born out of the carnival culture. it just kind of translated. But now, I mean, look, if like I use that term in jest, right? Like I was having this conversation with somebody. It was before the pay-per-view. Oh yes, there I am in my flesh-colored tights.
I was about to
So
say, I'm
Yeah.
keeping my comments PG. I'm keeping my
Exactly.
comments PG. I'm keeping my
Exactly.
comments PG.
But like, if it was before the pay-per-view, and we had this big tables match, right? And I'm with my team there, and our boss Pat not Billy, but Pat Kinney, the head of talent relations. You guys nervous? And Pat tries to make levity of it. And I'm like, Pat, you know me. I don't like. I'll be very honest with you. I've wrestled at the Garden several times. I've wrestled at every kind of really major arena in the world, and I do not get nervous. My brain is really
pressure?
kind of no. It's just my brain's wired differently, right? Like I can do that, and I will not blink an eye. But like again, day-to-day life stuff, not so much, right? Like that's kind of the trade-off, right? Like when I can like be wrestling, or even when I'm on set, right? Like the actors, like oh my god, and they get nervous, and they're all like this high-pressure situation, and it's like, look, we've rehearsed this. Like wrestling, you don't get a rehearsal. Like this is like, look, we have gone over this. You have hair and makeup making us look exactly like we're supposed to look. You have very highly paid sound and camera operators. Just shut up and do it. Like, know your lines. Don't hit the furniture, unless, of course, the script calls for it, and go. A lot of people, they make kind of, I think, like a bigger deal about stuff than it needs to be. But to your original point, right, like the term mark. No, mark, look, they're a fan, right? I'm a mark, okay? Like here's the reality. I was enough of a mark that I decided to dedicate a large portion of my life to this, okay, and fall down and miss birthdays, miss family events, funerals, you name it, just because I like this. I mean, come on, and like, oh, you were getting paid well. Well, then guess what? I'm a mark for money, right? Like that's the reality that it is. So I can understand where people would view that as a bad term, but my response, going back to when I was asked if I would get nervous, I was like, no. I go, they're all marks, and and I walked out. Now I did not mean that as like, oh yeah, they're all idiots. No, but like they all paid to see a show. It is our job to give them a show, and that's it, right? Like to me, right, like if I call someone, oh, you're a mark, this or that, and I don't, right? I don't personally do that. But if anyone questions how I feel about the fans, every single time I perform, whether I'm wrestling, whether I'm managing, whether I'm just talking or whatever, and the people that know me will tell you this, like I am emotionally exhausted because I literally give those fans every single ounce of everything I have. And I will do that until I stop performing, because that is my job, right? That is what I owe them, because anyone who's ever paid a ticket to see a show I'm on, or paid a ticket to see me, or bought my merchandise, or made a sign for me, if I don't give them my very best and then some, that is a reflection of me. And I truly owe everything to them. I would not have the house I live in. I would not have the clothes I wear. I would not have the car I drive. I just would not have the life I've had. And I have a pretty good life if it was not for the fans. So that, like, to me, if that red light's on, you bet your ass I'm going to be. I don't care what kind of a day I'm having, if I'm sick, if I'm this, if I'm that. No. They will get everything I have, and they will always get everything I have regardless. So that is how I feel about the the marks, as we say.
Well, it's clear to me the way you speak and your thought process. This had to come from your parents, I'm assuming. If I'm wrong, correct me. But Can you speak to me? Tell me a little bit about your parents.
I have again. I was with them last week. I love those two people as much as anybody walking the face of this earth. I truly do. I mean, they've given me again. Like if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't be here. But my parents are very unique, and I'll say that they're the type of people that everyone loves my father. And my father is quirky. He just retired last year after 44 years on the police force. So that he's a cop. Oh yeah, and my mother.
Public servant.
What's that?
I said public servant. My ex was in law enforcement for 17 years. That's a sacrifice.
Oh no, it is. It really is. Like before I had my license, my father would drive me to Killer Kowalski's up in Malden to go train. My father sacrificed a lot. My mother sacrificed a lot. But my parents, I often I get inspiration from them in the sense of I've definitely done auditions where I was someone with OCD, and man, I went, yep, here we go, Mom. And just kind of tapped into that because, look, this woman, she'd be waiting for my dad to come home because sometimes, he'd work, was it like 3 to 11? And my mother would just be incessantly cleaning the house. Like the house is in a state of perpetual cleaning. When people come over my parents' house for the first time, it's like, holy shit. I'm afraid to walk on the floors. I'm not kidding.
You don't want to sit down and wrinkle the couch.
No, I had a friend. I was doing a commercial in Boston, 2019, I believe. And I said, they got us a hotel, but I'm like, oh, wait a minute. My family lives like an hour from here. I'd rather go hang out with them and sleep with them. So my friend came with me to meet him. That was actually in charge of setting up the commercial, and she's a 60-year-old woman. She's in the Hollywood industry and everything. But again, and this isn't like Malibu. I was living in Malibu at the time, and she grew up in Malibu. And again, it wasn't weird like that. It was literally, she was like Malibu mom. She was kind of in charge of my Hollywood career. But she went, I grew up next to the Kennedys, and I am afraid to sleep in this bed. Not kidding.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. Yeah.
I gotta bring up something.
I
heard that name, Kowalski. How the hell did you get to train with the legend? How did that come about? How did you have the balls to do that?
This was just complete dumb luck. It was 97. November or December of 97. There was an independent show in Southbridge, Massachusetts. I grew up in central Massachusetts in a small town, North Oxford. And Southbridge was kind of a town that wasn't too far that my buddy lived in. And there was an independent wrestling show. Oh, let's go check it out. So we did, and ended up asking Tony Atlas, of all people, how to be a wrestler. He said, I'm going to introduce you to the Boston bad boy, Tony Rumble. He introduced us to Tony Rumble. Tony Rumble said, hang out after the show. I'm going to introduce you to Kowalski. We didn't know Killer Kowalski was going to be there. So, and I'll never forget this. We hung out. I was 16, me and my buddy. And Tony said, come on. We walked, and it was in this, it was snowing out. And, I remember this. There was, a neon light in an alleyway. And he had an old, I think, an Oldsmobile, a white Oldsmobile. And you just saw the silhouette of Killer. And we talked. He gave me his business card. A month or two later, went to the school, check it out, and then the rest was history. So I started kind of training. I was a junior in high school. And that made me grow up fast in a lot of ways, but not like you would think in terms of and again, I don't want to use the term mark. So please, 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 to any fan out there, if you're a wrestling fan and you are within the sound of my voice, I don't care if you're listening to this, a year, 10 years after it's being recorded. I'll say the same thing. if it wasn't for you, I would not have a career. So thank you. But I understood at an early age that everybody can be worked, that people are marks. So much to that in college, I never bought a book my last 2 years because I would understand this is what the professor wants. This is what needs to happen. Okay, know your material, and just go, just regurgitate it or kind of, tell the professor what they're wanting to hear, more or less. And now that may speak for the educational institution that I was at, but either way, I have found that life, unfortunately, in a lot of circumstances, can be like that. Now, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but wrestling taught me, again, you can always kind of complete your objective if you know how to talk and you know how to approach. And again, my whole thing was, and you say to my parents, and I credit my parents and my grandparents especially. My grandfather, God, yeah, he was having a moral compass, right? That I'm not going to jeopardize my integrity for one thing or another. Now, that has, it's hurt my wrestling career because I refuse to stab my friends in the back. And again, I don't like to get too much into it because you know what? Like, if I do, I'd sound like I'm complaining. But like in WWE and things, like, no, I was always the kind of guy that, like, when you hit my music, listen to the people, and then watch my performance, let that speak for itself.
Let it speak. I literally was going to say, let it speak for itself.
Yeah. And I'm able to look in the mirror to this day, and you know what? That's something I take a lot of pride in.
Your humbleness is amazing.
It is amazing.
I'll tell you that.
Oh, no, trust me. I'm actually an egomaniac. I'm just telling you what you want to hear. I'm kidding.
I think
he's working 2 marks, Danny.
He's working
Yeah.
Am I a mark? You made me your mark, Aron.
Who was your biggest influence as a wrestler that influenced you to become a wrestler?
Ooh. You know what? I cannot single one guy out. Shawn Michaels, incredible. When I was a kid, Ricky Steamboat, and Hulk Hogan, who wasn't a Hulk Hogan mark. I was a fan of Bret.
Am.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like,
at his bar.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. But I was a fan of Bret. When I got in the business, and I say this, when I got to OVW, that is when, like, the Aron of today, or the Sandow, like, that is when I really kind of started to form, because with Kowalski, Kowalski broke you in. I had as solid of a foundation as I could possibly get, and then some. And
it's almost like you found your way.
Yeah, and Killer would always say, "Make the people notice you. Make the people notice you." And again, I was only with him for like 5 years because I got signed after that, right? And with that, though, when I got to OVW, and I don't want to say that Killer did not teach psychology, because he did. He really, really did. He taught everything, and I love him, and I am so grateful to have had him in my life. But if I'm being very honest, like when at NWA, like I'll get asked, like, "Hey, can you help with this match? Can you help with that match?" And then, there was talk of me being an agent, but I'm like, no, I'm far too young and handsome to be an agent. I refuse. And plus, who the hell wants to go to agent meetings? I mean, no, thank you. Or production meetings. No, I
but
show up.
But you do have that gift for gab, though. You have that talk for persuasion. I can see it.
Oh, thank you. but it's interesting when, like, a younger talent says, "Hey, will you help me out with something?" And sure. And you can always tell, right, with people. Some people just ask you because they feel it's the right thing to do. Like, they think I'm going to go tell Pat or Billy, "Hey, this guy or gal really wants it." But then some people really want to learn. You have the Jordan Clearwaters of the world, right? Who Jordan Clearwater has listened and is doing phenomenal. There's guys like Joe Alonzo who are really up and coming and hungry and want to learn. The Thrillbilly Silas Mason, who's kind of like he's very, very good. He's one to watch too. He'll pick Trevor Murdoch's brain, my brain. Like he's very, very astute, shall we say. But when I got to OVW, it was Dr. Ty, because Dr. Ty, I owe my career also to Dr. Tom Pritchard. I mean, that man, I could not love that man more than I do. It's really impossible, because Doc he's the best. Bottom line, he is the best. And everyone will tell you that. But Rip Rogers, and I know he's a controversial figure, but Jim Cornette pretty much taught me like the business. Like they taught me like what booking was, how to do an angle, how to have long-term storytelling within a match and like on television. They taught me how to be a TV wrestler, because in wrestling today, and I think one of the big reasons why the business is in the state it's in, look, notwithstanding like maybe the business model has changed for WWE because they don't want any one person to be the draw. They want the company to be the draw. But you don't have any I say this in general. Like, of course, there's a couple stars like Roman Reigns, the Usos. In AEW you have Daniel Bryan, and the people like that. But there are too many wrestlers, and that's not what the wrestling business needs, because we are a television product. And I mean pro wrestling, right? You need to be a television star who wrestles, not a wrestler who's on TV. Because if people want to see that, they're going to go watch the acrobats at the circus, or go to the Olympics, or go watch UFC. They want to be invested in the person. And if you can get people to invest in you, and by invest, I mean make an emotional investment, because that's where everything else stems from. When they hit your music, they know it's you. They know your moveset. When you talk, you have them engaged. And that's what I would like to see more of. And at NWA, that's what we're trying to do. I would encourage all of you, if you haven't seen the Samhain pay-per-view, it's available on Fight TV. Go check it out, because that paper, I mean, people are still talking about it. It's the best thing we've done as a company, in my opinion, and it's only going to get better. So,
I have to agree with you. You definitely see like it has to be that charismatic. Like I loved watching, which people are probably going to hate me for saying this, like The Miz. That Miz had that charismatic, like it didn't matter if it was corny, but you were just so drawn to watch it and listen. And even like the whole Damian Priest and all that, like I liked watching the darkness grow and him embodying this character. And it's like, those are people, definitely, I will 100% agree. You may have the technical skills of a wrestler, but can you keep that person's attention with your storyline? I love watching people when Cody walks out, just the music, it just speaks for itself. Yeah. That man could just stand there for like a good 10 minutes, and everyone is just hook, line, and sinker because he embodies that, So I definitely will agree with what you're saying. You have to have the full package. Just because you may know how to wrestle doesn't make you a good wrestler. You have to be able to keep everyone emotionally invested in you.
Good. Bingo. Good points. Aron, early on in your earlier matches, you wrestled with CM Punk. He's a hot topic now. He's having a lot of different issues. How did he treat you in the ring, in and out?
Oh, we were always friends. Oh yeah, always. We've never had a crossword between us in OVW, WWE. No, always like we've always been on the same page.
He kind of reminds me of like the new age. Probably your guys are gonna hate me for saying this. He reminds me of like Stone Cold. Just I don't give a fuck. I go by my rules.
No, you know what?
You may pay me, but I go by my rules. You can't keep me.
He has his principles.
And I like that.
He has his principles. Yeah, he has his principles, and you know what? He sticks to his principles, and good for him. And I respect the hell out of that.
Is that like the old school mentality you have too? You're going to stick to your morals and not act the way others may treat you and stick to what you believe in?
Yes, and again, I I have a tendency, like I am, or at least I try to be, one of the most just easygoing, agreeable people in the locker room until it's time not to be, and then
So you're Switzerland.
Once I get to a certain point, it sometimes isn't good, which I will tell people in very high positions where to go and how to get there. And but anyways, I ended up in the NWA, so all is well, and I'll leave it at that.
Right, I got you.
Yeah.
Hey, so when you worked in like the WWE, and you worked with like the Undertaker's like now wife Michelle McCool, right? Am I?
Oh
correct
God,
with
yeah,
that?
yeah.
And you worked with even like a couple other. Mike, what was her name? I was talking about
Ashley Massaro.
Ashley
Yes, God rest her soul.
Massaro.
God rest her
Do you
soul.
guys like keep like personal friendships still going? Like, do you still like communicate?
No, not really. No, not really. I mean, like it's funny because, like you live your life in chapters, right? And like some chapters are just not as, I guess, I don't want to say important, but like are not as rich as other chapters, right? To where like,
Well, when her suicide happened, did that hit you at all? Like,
I felt very bad. I felt, again, extremely bad for her child or children. I think she had one kid, I believe. Her family, and I felt extremely bad that, somebody again had passed untimely. So I said a prayer, and I believe she's in a better place. And again, it's always sad, right? Like, and you do, as I previously stated,
whether you know them or not, it still hurts. Whether you know them personally, don't.
Yeah, without a doubt. And again, I said a prayer for her and her family, and again, it's never a good day when something like that happens.
And you got to admit, though, she was a knockout. She was.
Oh, without a doubt. No, without a doubt. No question at all. No.
Aron,
Yep.
Today's WWE, LA Knight's the hot topic, right? You've worked with LA Knight before. We've seen this before, though, right? Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan. Need I say Damien Sandow? When they gave you the Money in the Bank, were you thinking they're going to make me the next WWE World Champion?
Yep, and it was told to me.
And what happened?
Well, it didn't happen. And honestly, that is as blunt and as just kind of like straight up as I can put it. For some reason, plans changed. No one told me. Like, I was the last to know. I had to go out there, and again, we had a TV show. I was playing a character on it. I had to go do the best I could. I'll worry about the repercussions. I'm not this, I'm not that. But hey, if I'm on TV the next week, obviously doing something right. And that's the thing where I've always, like, if I could keep myself on TV, I'm cool.
One of your stablemates.
A lot? Does that Money in the Bank thing happen a lot?
Not really. Not really. I'll be very honest with you.
I feel like correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Damian Priest get Money in the Bank also?
Well, he still does. Yeah.
He still has it.
He still has it.
And I feel like it's still kind of complacent.
Well, I think Damien Sandow, the character, was the first one ever to lose a Money in the Bank cash-in, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So we had Chris Masters in studio, another one of your stablemates at the NWA. You guys as a group are really building this organization. He did mention that John Cena held him down a bit. I'm not saying you know the answer, but do you think other wrestlers saw how hot you were getting? They gave you that Money in the Bank, and they said, you know what? I'm not letting this happen on my watch?
I know the responses I was getting. It was recently told to me at an autograph signing that on the house shows they'd have to list who had the best responses. I was constantly either number one or number two. And this is someone from in the office. And they eventually said, stop putting Sandow's name on there, like, whatever. So that, to me, it tells me everything. You know, that's just, is what it is. And it at least explains something, because I'm there going, hey, wait a minute, is no one else hearing this? And, you know, the agents, Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, they were all, I mean, in my corner. You know, Mike Rotundo, oh my God, he was amazing. Fit Finley, like those agents, I got to work, I tell you what, some of the best agents out there. And I include Jamie Noble in that category.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, though, but here you are thinking they're going to make me the new champion, probably going to beat Cena, one of the greats of all time. And then one of the agents come to you and say, guess what? Change of plans. You're going to be the first guy that's going to lose a cash-in.
Yeah.
Do you say why, what, how, what's
pissed.
going on?
Yeah, I was pissed and had a conversation with one of the higher-ups. And, hey, sorry, this is the assignment. No problem, let's go. Because, like, here's the reality. I could have, you know, sulked about it or whatever, but we were hours away from going live on TV. We were going up against Monday Night Football in the World Series. I had to deliver the performance of my life. May not have ended the way I wanted to, but then again, I had to over-deliver bottom line. And that's, you know, hey, watch the match, let me know what you think, right? I mean, that's it. Like, it's...
Does Vince come out to you and say, you know, hey, thanks for this. It took a lot.
He did, and he said you'll be rewarded, and you know, hey, whatever.
Did you get rewarded?
No, I mean, I kept a job. So look, that is what it is.
Thank you for giving me my job.
But
like, come on,
but hey, and you know something? What's that? Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm mad for you.
No, but here is the reality, right? And this is what I've come to. When you sign a contract with them, right? You're playing a character on TV, whatever. It is fake when you win, and it is fake when you lose. Would it have been nice to have been in the history books and this and that? Yeah, but you know what? More than that, like, there have been champions that have gotten responses that, like, I would have laughed at had I gotten it, right? Or I would have been, like, really upset with, rather. Every time people cheered for me, the reaction was genuine, whether it was booing, cheering, or whatever. And, like, I was able to do a lot. Like, yeah, like the stuff I did with Miz, yeah, that kind of fell under more like the comedy genre. But if you look at the Sandow stuff, I mean, the street fights I had, I mean, that was just old school, you know, as we say in the South.
Clearly, me not even knowing you, and I don't know, I've never seen you wrestle. Clearly, you're
not missing much, believe me.
You have a look. You do have a look. Hey, listen.
Oh, no, I said you're not missing much. Don't worry. If you by not seeing me
But
wrestle,
I'm saying clearly you have an ideal presence. You're a handsome man. You're well-spoken. You know how to articulate yourself, and I'm sure you know the technicalities of the wrestling. So it's like, why not give someone that opportunity who we can see, and even on top of it, the moral background, which that was supposed to be a family paid like programming, you know, like, why not push that, make that, because that Money in the Bank is supposed to be like that next golden child, that poster boy of WWE. Why not push for something like that? It is what dumbfounds me, but you give it to, like, assholes like my ex. And, like, people like that, where it's just like, clearly, like, you could have picked someone that was more worthy of this. Right. Like, things like I have no words for it. It's stupidity. It's like, for me, it was bad judgment. Like,
well, you know, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But, you know, look, it is what it is, and things turn out the way they're supposed to in the long run. And again, like,
everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. How it's
had I stayed, like, had I won the title and I stayed with WWE, and I say my life has been just a series of chapters. Like I never would have had the years I had in Malibu. And let me tell you, if I ever write a book, holy, you know what? There is going to be some stories of my California
I got a mouth
years.
like a Trevor. You could slip one here and there and make me feel not like
Thanks.
such a degenerate.
But no, like the California years, that they were, wow. And then, you know, past that, like the NWA stuff, to where like what we're doing now, like I'm getting the opportunity to kind of be a part of something from the ground up, work with super creative people, and really kind of given a license to like kind of go out there and like, you know, of course, you know.
Okay,
look,
well, here's a question. What is, now that you're in the NWA, like what is the difference between these two organizations in your eyes? Like,
one
how would you
organization
describe
says,
that for someone like me?
one organization says you're part of the family, and we're all family here. The other organization actually is a family, where
Ooh,
we literally.
I can honestly, I feel that when you said that, I feel you.
Yeah, like we rely on each other to where, I mean, it will be chaos, but somehow, and Samhain, again, I'm not, I have no interest in this. I'm not getting a percentage of this, but like, please, if you have the time, go to it. Watch the pay-per-view from start to finish. Tell me if you do not think, and again, this is a statement, and this is a challenge. Tell me if you don't think this has the potential to be ECW. In the sense of...
I will. I take you on that challenge, and I will do it.
Thank you. In the sense of, though, again, not a carbon copy of ECW, but in the sense of we are the alternative, where we take what was so good about wrestling in the 80s and 90s, that old school feel, and we bring it up to today. And look, we take risks. There's like, we push the envelope with a lot of stuff, and if you get the pay-per-view, you'll see what I'm talking about. Not just in the ring, but truly as a company, like we live and die together. And that starts from the top, from Billy, Pat Keeney, who I can't say enough good things about. Pat Keeney has probably been the single biggest influence on my career out of the ring. And I am very grateful to Pat, and he is just so underrated in terms of what he does, and he's taught me so much, and I'm grateful to him. Working with Billy is just, it's a dream, because we can, like, we're fans of the same stuff in terms of like what makes wrestling. So like with him and I, like he'll give like what he thinks is a you know, like, all right, this is what I'd like to happen. And then like him and I'll kind of look at each other and be like, okay. And then we won't talk till after the segment. And then it's just, it's great. Like it's, you know, Billy has been better to me than any boss I've ever worked for. And I am very grateful.
I feel like
to him.
now you're not working anymore, because you can hear when they say when you love your job, it's not work. And
no. This is me being genuine.
This isn't work comparison to how you described even like WWE. That was work.
Well,
yes. Like no. Well, I'm being completely 100%. And for this conversation, I have been genuine. You know, I mean, just because you know how to work someone doesn't. And you know, again,
I know how to work someone.
Exactly. Oh yeah. No. Trust me. I never assume I am smarter than anyone, because that's how you get caught sideways. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this, Aron. So you mentioned Billy, right? So Vince is the ultimate promoter. He's been in the industry forever. I don't think anyone could deny he's the greatest pro wrestling promoter in the history of the sport. Here you are, and you've been wrestling a long time, since you're 16 years old. Why does a guy like Billy Corrigan, who's not a wrestler, he's a great musician, but not a wrestler or a wrestling promoter, and Tony Khan, why are they treated differently, being that they're both the same people? They're really not in wrestling. What do you think the difference is there?
I can't speak for Tony Khan because I've never met the man. Billy, I feel I know pretty well in the sense of like who he is as a wrestling personality, and by wrestling personality, how he thinks, his vision for what he sees, and what he thinks is good. And Billy is in this because he wants to be. He's in this because he loves it. And, you know, like with anything, right? Like there will be stresses and hiccups and roadblocks leading up to, you know, whatever event. And hey, things happen. And as a company, we roll with them. And, you know, I can look at him like at the end of the pay-per-view, it was really cool because like we kind of like, we're standing there, like we looked at each other. It was like, okay, yeah, like this is better than any of us could have ever imagined. You know, look, the match I was in alone, which he, you know, he said, this is what I'd like to do. This is how I'd like the premise of the match to go. He's like, get the costumes, get everything. You know, this is your budget. Go. Very happy to announce we were under budget. Thank you very much. But the final product with and again I'll publicly say Sherry, you know, she knows who she is. Really the lady that got everything together in terms of the aesthetics for it. Because look, it was a Knights of the Round Tables match. I know what you're going to say. It's whatever. However, I ask you, as ridiculous as that sounds, go watch that match and tell me what you think. I mean, it was like the fans were talking about it. They still are. It was everything good about pro wrestling, in my opinion. As was EC3 versus Tom Latimer, you know, with Matt Cardona and Camille involved in there. As was Thrillbilly Silas Mason versus Chris Masters. In the NWA, we have a blend of a lot of new up-and-coming talent with people that you're familiar with that can still go. And it makes for a very, very interesting blend because a lot of times on TV, you say, okay, this guy's up and coming. We need to just go and have him win and beat this guy that was established or whatever real quick. But in the NWA, it's not like that. In the NWA, it's long-term storytelling. Whoa, that was a bad haircut. Huh.
Were you upset?
That was a bad haircut.
I still think you look good. I'm not even gonna know.
Were you upset?
Actually, you had a nice full beard too. Like you look good.
Oh, thank you. You're too. Thank you for boosting my self-confidence. I appreciate it.
Were you upset that
it's
Aldis?
no lies.
I'll get the question eventually. Were you upset that Aldis didn't stay the course and stick with the NWA?
Look, you know what? We are in a business of like, as wrestlers, right? The commodity we are selling is ourselves. And like anything else, right? You have supply and demand. And you also have personal feelings and whatever. And I never get involved with people's personal stuff. And then to this day, I mean, I couldn't tell you the reason Nick left. Glad he found steady work. You know, it's always nice to see people, you know, be able to feed their families. And you know what? He's doing his thing. We're doing ours.
Well, besides the last mentioned Nick Aldis, that seems to be the only issue the NWA, at least from a fan, because that's all I am, on the outside, that Corrigan's had with the talent. Why do you think there's such a difference between the NWA and the AEW, which seems to have a boatload of problems on a weekly basis?
We keep our bottom line, we keep our locker room in check. If you ask anybody that comes into our locker room, and look, not for nothing, but if you come into our locker room, if you're 6 feet tall, you're not considered a big guy. And that's not the truth in a lot of locker rooms now. You look at it, and this isn't a knock, but if you look at AEW, even WWE or NXT, right? Like, yes, you have your freaks and monsters, but like, we're like, I mean, 6'2", 6'4", 6'5". I mean, we're a little bigger. We've been, you know, and this is like the veterans that have been doing this. And if there's an issue, you know, and it's not like we don't like have wrestlers court and we don't pick. No, we encourage people to come. We want to help everybody, right? And this is a place where everyone helps everyone. You know, you have one of the younger guys does the marketing And like literally, we are dependent on each other. So the guys that have more experience, we want to help the young guys be more TV friendly. Some of the guys that have experience in media and some people in sales, like we all like if you look at NWA, the people that are there, we're there because we want to be there, and it truly is a family. Like they've had the vetting process, because there have been people that have come in that on paper have a giant upside. That, I mean, look, we've had to say like, no, not whatever, but like if our locker room gives someone the thumbs down, like the administration listens. And the thing is, we don't have any other interest, right? Like, yes, the NWA title's great. It's nice to be champions. It's nice to do this. But at the end of the day, we are all of the same mindset, in that although we have personal goals, because everybody does, the interests of the company have to come first, because if the company is not solid, we ain't going to be around for very long. We're interested in building long-term success. And that's why, I mean, it's genius on Billy's part. Like he says, hey, like that is your locker room. And for Pat Keeney too, to say that, like, that's your locker room. You guys control it. So if never had, I mean, we've had to talk to some people sometimes, but it's not like we're screaming and yelling. There's no, like, if there's ever an issue, we talk face to face, we handle it, and then we move on. And that truly, I think, is how it should be. Because
if you had to guess, would your locker room give the thumbs up to CM Punk joining the NWA?
If it was good for bit, absolutely. Absolutely, because you know what? The way our locker rooms went, knowing Punk like I know him, he would fit right in. He would fit right in. Because he gets a bad rap because the business is not the same as when him and I broke in. And I'm not saying it's good, bad. Look, society's changed. I don't know if it's a generational thing, but the business simply is not the same. And I think Punk is sticking up for what he believes in. And, like, look, the issue, it was something with glass in the ring with AEW. Like, there was, like, real glass in the ring. You know what? That's stupid. That is a stupid thing. Why would you have real, like, do you not have enough respect for the people that are going on after you? Like, not even, like, okay, CM Punk's done more than anyone, look, Edge is there now, but, like, CM Punk's done a lot. And for someone to, like, oh, no, I'm going to use real glass because I want to look tough. No, that means you're probably not tough in real life, and you're trying to prove it by throwing yourself on a fluorescent tube or whatever the hell it was, I don't know. But you have the respect for the people going on after you, because guess what? They could be injured. But people don't think like that. They want to think me, 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 me. And the reality is, unless you're trained properly and unless you're actually good enough at this, if you can't say, hey, I can't do this, I have to adjust, right? That's what a pro is. That is what a professional is. Punk's a pro. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, he's this, he's that, he's got... No, but in the ring, CM Punk is a pro. And outside the ring, I've always known him to be a pro. And the little bit I have heard about that situation, and again, I am not even, in my opinion, qualified to truly comment. So please take what I say with a grain of salt. But if the issue was like a real glass in the ring, no, that is completely disrespectful. And had that been an issue in NWA, well, first of all, it wouldn't have happened in NWA. But if someone was to show that level of disrespect in our locker room, there would be a very, very different conversation. And I think the internet would be reporting a very different outcome.
Well, then on the other side, would you think the NWA locker room would welcome or give the thumbs up to a Perry or Young Bucks?
Look, the Young Bucks, I'm a fan of the Young Bucks, and I'll tell you why. Their style may not be what I dig, but you know something? If I was to have a match with them, I would let them do their thing. When I got the heat, it would be my heat, and I would play off of them. I would adjust to them, And look, regardless of what you think of the Young Bucks, those guys have made a tremendous living, and those guys are a resounding success. So I think I might have met them once and said hi to them, but like, no, I am a fan of them. I am a fan of what they do. And look, business-wise, there's different philosophies, right? Like people like this style, people like that style, whatever. It's all pro wrestling. But no, I mean, for what I know of them, no, I look, NWA, we welcome anyone. We are truly the land of misfit toys, or the island of misfit toys, wherever the hell it is. Or the show will be on soon.
Are you saying I'd be welcomed?
Oh yeah, no, like truly, like we welcome anyone. The only, yes, of course you would, but the only
I have to be a heel though.
prerequisite-
I'm a heel. I'm a heel.
Oh, don't worry, same here. I tried to do a babyface thing in a minute, it didn't work.
Can't
But
do that,
no, like
baby
the only,
face.
yeah, but like prerequisite, and then this goes to any young wrestler that may be listening, right? Have a good attitude, be willing to work, and be willing to just take some pointers for being better, and for presenting yourself better, and just have a good attitude. Because here's the thing, you know, and for what I said about the NWA locker room, that is all true. But you know what? Everyone has said about the NWA locker room, it is the most laid back and fun locker room they've been in. Because it is. We are chill. We don't do the whole veteran here and the young. No. Everybody help. We are just chill, man. All of us. But again, if you have a bad attitude, if you try to put the company at risk, because those of us that are there, like, we work very hard for the company. It's literally about those three letters, and this goes for Billy too. You know, look, Billy, he doesn't need to do this, but those three letters still mean something to those of us that are truly kind of a fan of pro wrestling the way we think it should be presented. And look, we have all kinds of people. All kinds of, you know, we have cruiserweights or the junior heavyweights, right? We have heavyweights. We have all shapes and sizes, and there's truly something for everyone. And I think, again, I know I'm sounding redundant like a broken record, but I'm very proud of this, to be honest with you. And it's been a while since I have truly been like, hey, because it's not because I think like the quality was subpar. But it was like, wow, we set out to do this, and as a company, all of us hit a grand slam. And at the pay-per-view we had this past weekend, it has never been more apparent. So like, if you guys check it out, hit me up on Instagram. Let me know what you think of it if you see it start to finish, and if not, just watch our match or whatever. But
all right, I got to go to slide in his DM. He said it out loud. We all heard it. I'm sliding in the DM.
All right, so yeah.
No, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. And honestly, your passion
Amen.
behind it just shows that
No.
it's worthy of it.
No.
You're
Thank you.
you're like a proud mama bear right now. You're like, yeah, it's
It's-
a champion.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, it is. It
builds-
is. And I never
builds
thought I would
on.
feel this. Yeah. But I never thought I would feel this to wrestling, because when I left WWE, you know, I was.
But
an
that's why I
Impact
said you
Gold-
could see the difference in how you talk about WWE. That was work for you. And here,
Yeah.
this isn't work. When you love what you do, it's not work. It's
Yeah.
your passion. And you
Yeah.
can hear the difference in how you even describe the two organizations.
Oh, night
All
and day. Yeah, night
Aaron,
and day.
we're going to get you out of here, but we're going to hit you with, we're calling it, used to be called the Pharaoh's final question, but now it's going to be the Daniela final question until I find a better
I
rhyme.
have so many I want to ask.
What happened to Pharaoh?
If I come to Sarasota, am I getting a private tour?
Pharaoh entered a relationship with a pro wrestler's widowed wife and moved to Florida, which is good for him. He loves it.
Look at the irony,
Okay,
though. He
right.
got
Yeah.
into a relationship with a wrestler's widow, and then I entered the show being an ex-WWE's ex-girlfriend.
Oh, good. Okay, no, but hey, so now wait a minute. Now, is this going to be the Monte and Daniela show?
I'm not big on a rebranding. You know, I always feel like
told them that I
rebranding
want
shows
them
a
to keep the
weakness.
name.
So we may change Daniela's name. I'm thinking I may call her like something Pharaoh. I just got to think about it.
Ooh, okay. Oh my God, this is great. Well, you have to keep me updated, please.
But here she
I
goes.
don't
She's going to
think
give
the
you a
name should
final
change.
question. I don't know what she's going to ask you. It's off
All right,
script.
hit me.
And I want to thank you
I know, I
again
have,
for
like,
taking
so
the time.
many.
I want to thank you again for taking the time and joining us. Wonderful interview, wonderful human being. Thank you so much.
It was truly my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
If you can choose any song with no restriction as your entrance song, what would it have been? Not the one present.
That's a
We're talking
good
about
one.
any choice. No restrictions, no copyright, no nothing.
Now, look, I'm going to say this because, again, I have no thoughts of going back to WWE, right? I don't think about it. I don't, whatever. I'm going to this is just me being straight up. With Triple H, when he asked me what I want to use for a theme, I said the Hallelujah Chorus by Handel. Why? Number one,
I
everyone
was just
knows
about to say
it.
the same thing.
Yeah, and number two, it is considered the most beautiful piece of music ever written because people stand up when they play it. And like Triple H, to his credit, he went, okay, done. And that was my music. So Daniela, I'm not like, so that is my choice. And that theme has kind of followed me throughout my career because, hey, it's public domain. But that is like when that music hits, yes, that's me. Past that, all right, like, so I got the music that I wanted, but if I had to pick like a current theme, I Touched Myself by the Divinals.
That's a good song.
Okay, are you just doing this for me? Like, are you just saying that for me?
Oh, no,
my
I would rock that. Or If Looks Could Kill by Heart, I like that one.
Heart?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Are you my
Wow.
magic man? All right, so I'm coming to Sarasota. You're giving me a private interview, right?
Absolutely. No, we can, if you want, like, seriously, let me know. I'd be happy to do it. So, all good.
All right,
I
man.
definitely will come to
Thank
see
you
ya.
for joining us. What an
You
honor.
are so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Big fans of the NWA. Big fans of you. We're wishing
Thank
you
you.
guys the best. We're rooting for you.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, man.
Bye.
All right, D. What'd you think, buddy?
What a good Christian boy. I'm like trying to behave myself. I'm not feeling good, and I'm like, oh, my demons are getting
Yeah, but
to me.
you know what though? You could tell he's a really good guy.
I know he's a really good guy, but I tell you, he talked about the castle. You don't know what the castle's about. I do.
Next show you got to fill me in because now I have to know all about it. And again, reminder.
Oh, I love him already. I love his humbleness. I love his passion. I love his faith. I love that he's like I said, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. And he definitely, you can hear the difference between working with WWE, the way he would talk about it, comparison to NWA. Like this isn't work for him. He's doing what he loves. Before it was work. You could tell it was work.
I want to give you kudos. I see the same thing when you do this show. It's not work. It's just fun. But I can hear it in your voice. You're getting sick. So you better
I
take
am.
it easy.
I was like blowing my nose when the camera was off me.
All right. We need rest, vitamin C, lots of water. Take care of yourself.
I'm resting all weekend. I got to get ready for November 11th for our big event.
That is all. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, I want to thank our guest, Aron Stevens. Incredible interview. I want to thank you, Daniela, for joining us yet again this Thursday night. I want to thank everybody, the Monte The Pharaoh family. We'll see you guys next Thursday. We have another show, and then we've got Friday, Saturday, nothing but live interviews.
With me.
That's it. That is all.
They got me like, 3 straight days in a row.
That's it. Unbelievable. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Thanks again. Much love.